At bay, at least for now. This morning, crisis talks are underway at the Ukraine-Belarus border. Democratic Senator Chris Coons serves on the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, and he went to Europe last week to meet with leaders of NATO countries and the president of Ukraine, and he joins us now. Senator, good morning. You're also on the Judiciary Committee, and we do want to get to Supreme Court questions later, but we're going to begin with Ukraine. You met with leaders in Europe. You're also close with our leader here, President Biden. What can you tell us about where the White House is right now in terms of the crisis as it stands and where it might be going?
Well, the hard work that President Biden did over the last year to weave back together our NATO alliance has been paying off. Last week, when I met with leaders from across Europe, and this week, as we've seen the remarkable courage and determination of President Zelensky, we've also seen a swift and united response to Russian aggression, and that's partly a result of President Biden's effective diplomacy. The EU, for the first time, is paying for offensive weapons to be sent into Ukraine. Germany has reversed course, is cutting off the Nord Stream 2 pipeline that Russia was counting on for future revenue, and is sending offensive military weapons into Ukraine. And I serve on the Appropriations Committee. We're going to provide billions more in assistance, both for refugees and for the Ukrainian resistance.
So, Senator, looking into the future, the Ukrainians are putting up a very fierce fight, but they are outnumbered. They are outgunned. Even with that additional aid, the Russian military is very strong. If Putin succeeds in taking some sort of control of the country, what does the U.S. need to do now to prepare?
Well, first, President Biden has said over and over that we will defend every inch of NATO territory. Last week, I had the chance to meet with American and Polish pilots and with American and Lithuanian armored troops who are training together and preparing for the potential defense of NATO against Russian aggression. Second, we have to make sure that the eastern flank of NATO is fully reinforced. President Biden has dispatched 12,000 U.S. troops to make sure that Putin understands there is a real red line he cannot cross. And last, we're going to have to continue to support the people of Ukraine. They will ultimately succeed. I think this will be Putin's greatest mistake. And ultimately, because of the thousands and thousands of protesters across Europe and Russia and the significant economic harm that we're already seeing to Russia, I think this move will end up being his greatest mistake.
Many people hope you're right about that, Senator, where you say the Ukrainian people will ultimately succeed. We had Alexander Vindman on in the last half hour, and he said, Putin's call to put his nuclear forces on high alert, that he's not really concerned about that. He called that nuclear saber rattling. Do you feel the same? Do you think we should be worried about this?
Well, I'm worried about it. I certainly deeply respect Colonel Vindman's service and knowledge. And many of us have been debating whether or not Putin remains the cold and calculating and rational actor he's been. There seems to be something unhinged about his recent speeches and the boldness, the aggression of his invasion of Ukraine. The next few days and weeks will show us whether or not he responds to the deterrent force of aggressive sanctions. I don't think he expected the entire Western world to come together against him and to impose crippling economic sanctions, technology sanctions, even seeing the sports world excluding him and the EU shutting down its airspace. So we'll see whether he's a rational actor. I hope this is nothing more than saber rattling, but we should be very concerned and very vigilant about deterring Putin from further acting against the West.
Senator, you're also on the Senate Judiciary Committee. What's the timeline for the confirmation hearings of President Biden's nomination of Ketanji Brown Jackson?
Well, Judge Jackson will begin meeting with senators this week. We'll begin reading into her decisional record, her background. My hope is that we will have a confirmation process that is fair, that is swift, that is transparent, and that will see her seated on the Supreme Court later this spring. My hope is we'll have a confirmation vote before Easter.
But, Senator, what is the delay at all when it comes to her background? She was just confirmed less than a year ago for the Federal Circuit Court of Appeals. Everything seems to be ready to go.
That's right. Typically, the Judiciary Committee had a long tradition of taking at least a few weeks to give members to meet with a nominee, to read into their background. There's two things at play here. Yes, you're right. She was very recently confirmed to the D.C. Circuit, so we've recently had a chance to review her record, and she hasn't written many decisions since she was confirmed. It was so recent. But frankly, also the precedent of the confirmation of Justice Amy Coney Barrett, which was raced through in a matter of just a few weeks by the Republicans under the previous administration. Those two in combination suggest this might be a rather swift confirmation process.
It's going to be interesting, though, because some Republicans are already calling her too radical. Yes or no, do you expect bipartisan support on this?
I would certainly hope so. She got 3 Republican votes when confirmed for the D.C. Circuit. She hasn't changed in the last few months. And she has outstanding credentials, a remarkable background, and she will make historic contributions to our Supreme Court.
3 Republican votes. It's worth remembering that when Breyer, who she would replace, was confirmed, he got 87 Republican votes, or 87 votes. 87 to 9 was the vote. So very bipartisan. We're in a different world.
That's right. No one disputes her qualifications. Thank you, Senator Coons. Thank you very much. Coming up, Sir Patrick Stewart will